called me a dreamer. Now I own his empire. You're a disgrace, Mark. A dreamer. My father's face was purple with fury. I was 20, fresh out of college, telling him I wouldn't join Miller Steel and Fabrication. My passion wasn't the clang of metal. It was lines of code, building virtual worlds. I'm making my own way, Dad. I tried to hold steady. Then make it somewhere else, he roared, pointing to the door. Don't come back until you're a Miller man. Bags packed in an hour. I left with a $20 bill, burning resentment and fierce determination. He thought I was nothing? I'd prove him wrong. The next 10 years were a blur of hard work. Ramen, cramped apartments, coding till my eyes blurred. I built websites, then apps, scaled a small tech startup from my bedroom. Every late night, every rejection fueled me. I was driven. Miller Steel became a painful, distant memory. Then, about a year ago, news broke. Miller Steel was struggling. Old tech, outdated methods, dwindling contracts. My father, despite his pride, was watching his empire crumble. An idea, cold and precise, formed. It wasn't just revenge, it was closure, proving my path was valid. I started making calls, discreetly, pulled strings, used my capital from my successful venture. It was a hostile takeover, pure and simple, but perfectly legal. I bought out his major shareholders, one by one, until I held the controlling interest. He never saw it coming. Why would he? His dreamer son was still a failure in his eyes. The meeting was set for a Tuesday in his office, the same office he'd kicked me out of. He sat across from me, bewildered, expecting a plea for a job. He looked older, tired. "Mark, what is this about?" he asked, his voice strained. I leaned forward, placing a thick folder on his desk. "Dad, as of today, Miller Steel and Fabrication is under new ownership." His eyes widened, scanning the documents. "What? This is impossible!" "It's very possible," I replied calmly. "I own 51% of the shares, and effective immediately, your services as CEO are no longer required." He stared at me, mouth agape, shock, disbelief, then fear. The man who'd roared at me, so sure of his path, was speechless. "I've arranged a generous severance package," I continued, pushing another document across. "And I'll ensure the employees are taken care of. This company needs a future, Dad, a digital future." I stood up, adjusting my expensive suit. "You told me to make my own way. I did. You told me not to come back until I was a man. Well, here I am." Leaving that office, I didn't feel the triumph I expected. A hollow ache, a recognition of what we'd lost. But beneath that, a profound sense of peace. I had built my own legacy. And in doing so, I had finally broken free. The dreamer had won.